Hello, my name is Vigilant Jack, and today I'm going to be talking about the U.S. federal government and my thought process on kind of like the whole system. As you can see right here, not the best view, it's kind of grainy. I'll try to find a better one, but this is the best one that I got. Simple legal guides. Whatever this is, it's just a PNG. So basically, a lot of people do not understand 100% on how our government is kind of ran. And I kind of want to go over it because I don't know a lot of these departments. They're very foreign to me. Never been a part of them or heard about them. So I'm going to start from left to right and I'll give you my opinion. Disclaimer, these are all my opinions. I believe in the U.S. government and I support the U.S. government because this is the best place you can ever live on Earth. Doesn't mean that there isn't flaws that are my opinion. In this, and there's two sides of this. There's the legislative and the judicial that are very screwed up from the very get go. 100% right there. Um, uh, my biggest problem is probably legislative and judicial. Executive is very momentary with the president of the United States only having 4 years per term, maxing out 2 terms. And with Donald Trump, he was heckled and they tried to imprison him on false charges, basically robbing him of his first term. And in my opinion, it's been proven that there was sketchy shit going on, and it's been proven without a shadow of a doubt. But as I said, I'm going to start with the legislative branch and then Congress. So, Congress, the House of Representatives, the Senate, and I think it's. Oh, I should have started with this. But yeah, this is kind of like the brain dead showing you stuff, and this is kind of like the in depth report on it. So, Senate, there's 100 total seats, 100% of them have to vote. The House of Representatives, there's 435. There's 430 voting members, 6 non-voting delegates, 5 vacancies. So altogether, there's 535 total seats. Only 530 are being used at this time. Right now, in the House of Representatives, there's 219 Republicans with a majority vote. Democrats at 212. Doesn't mean that 7 seat lead means anything. There's a bunch of Republicans that aren't conservative. They're progressive and they have different agendas that are probably not in the best interest of the United States and its people that coincide in it that have been living it for generations or brand new United States citizens. Um, and then the Senate seats, there's an overwhelming majority with Republicans, 53, and then Democrat 45, yada yada yada, 8 seat difference. And there's 2 independents, which is insane to me. Is why there is only 2 seats of independents. So it's not Democrats or Republicans; it's an independent. Both caucus with, they both go with Democrats, so it's not even that big of a lead on that part. So back to what I wanted to talk about was Congress, and that's what I got done with talking about the state and the House. And I guess they go through the vice president and then to POTUS, um, then the cabinet. Uh, but then it goes down here to other legislative agencies, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, um, GAO, General Accounting Office, Government Publishing Office, Library of Congress, U.S. Botanic Garden, architect of the Capitol. Yeah. All right. And that's just my thinking of the whole legislative branch. Uh, what's crazy is that these people of House of Representatives and then the Senate can literally do absolutely nothing for the better part of their whole term of, the in a year. They can say, "Oh, I don't want to vote on anything," which has been done by the Democrats many times over and over and over, and they still get paid out of they get paid through the taxpayers. All right, and I'll probably go off subject throughout this video. This is kind of my first video on this kind of subject, so I don't really have too much to say about the president, the vice president, but I'll be running down the list on this big red scale because it's the biggest one, and and I'll be running down this, and the very bottom of the screen right here is where I'm gonna share my opinion on some things that are so POTUS, vice president, and then it goes to the cabinet, Department of Defense, which I think is called the Department of War now. Army, Joint Chiefs, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, NSA, Space Force, Coast Guard, and you go back to the right, it's the DOJ, Department of Justice, the AG, Attorney General. I hear Department of Justice is a joke. I'm trying to figure out words that kind of best explain it in my head by watching news and facts. Is it's not good, in my opinion. So, and this is what I mean by that. FBI is absolutely like a lot of people call this the alphabet agencies. So the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, ATF. I'm pretty sure was not even sanctioned under the legislative branch. ATF was. DA, U.S. Marshals, Office of Special Counsel. Then go down right here, the State Department of State, Department of Energy, Treasury Department, Department of Health and Human Services, National Institute of Health, Food and Drug Administration. This one's kind of sketchy right here because they do mander to certain people, in my opinion. Center for Disease Control. Again, not too much, for me to say. I'm not really acquainted. I know what they do, I just don't know the ins and outs. IRS is a joke. They're thieves. The Department of Treasury, this whole section right here are thieves to the people. What else? HUD, Department of Housing and Urban Development. This would be good if it was overhauled and they did more scrutinizing with the people that got these services. And we're kind of getting that after Joe Biden's tenure as president, letting in millions, tens of millions of illegal immigrants, flooding our country and abusing the system. Department of Veteran Affairs. This needs overhaul. This definitely needs overhaul. There's so many people that I've talked to that went to the VA and they had to go there constantly, go to court constantly, prove that they need those services that the VA has. Like, after serving your country, especially in combat situations, you should have a full ride for the rest of your life after you get out of honorable discharge. I'm not saying give them millions and billions of dollars, but like, make sure that they're good for the rest of their lives. Uh, Department of Education, I think that was shut down, if I'm not too sure. That's a joke right here. We don't need federal government that supervises, and they actually don't even supervise, first of all. Department of Commerce, yada yada. Census Bureau, this is invasion of privacy, in my opinion. USPTO, don't know what the heck that is. NWS, National Weather Service, I guess that's okay. Then I'm going to come over here to Department of Transportation, FFA. They are getting a rehaul for, I know, where their DI is now out the door. It's illegal. You can't be doing that. It's all merit based. I mean, that's where it was at before Joe Biden came into office. USDA, Department of Agriculture, USF, U.S. Forest Service. See, agriculture, that's a funny thing because farmers feed the nation, our nation. They're literally the cornerstone to the American people. And, I mean, there's a bunch of legal red tape when it comes into that line of working, too. And there is a lot of, whatchamacallit, lost my train of thought. Department Interior, BLM, Bureau Land Management, NPS, National Park Service. I like how there's some that don't have it, and there's some that does. And I don't think I went down these branches right here. Especially like this stuff right here. TSA is a necessary thing that happened after 9/11, where we didn't really have a lot of security in our airports, which we should have. That to me, that I'm maybe jumping around right here. I'm trying not to jump around. TSA needs to be re overhauled. Secret Service also needs to be overhauled. ICE is doing a phenomenal job with all the resources that are given to deport illegal immigrants. FEMA is a joke. It should be removed from this whole thing right here. They are a joke. I've heard so many stories of FEMA being requested to come over because there's a bunch of thousands of people in natural disasters. Yeah. So now we're down here. Executive Office of the President, White House Office, blah 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 blah. But right here, I'm gonna go down here right now. CIA is not a very good part of our government at all. It should be abolished and revamped to a completely different thing. The things that they did to our own country is abominable, to say the least. And they're not even supposed to be working in the confines of the United States. Environmental Protection Agency, that's good. I don't know too much about that. The Federal Reserve System, that's like money shit. Equal Employment Opportunity, blah blah blah. Federal Communications, FEC, Federal Election Committee or something like that. Federal Trade Committee, General Service Administration, International Trade Committee, I'm pretty sure. I don't know because they have them abbreviated. NASA should get a upgrade to their funding so we can start developing on other planets, or at least out of our confines of our airspace to, improve human life. Labor Relations, Science, National Science Foundation, Nuclear Regulatory Committee, Office of Government Ethics. Okay. Small Business Admin, SSA, Social Security Admin, U.S. Postal Service. And like with the Social Security Administration, um, I've heard a lot of talk about how in like 32 years, I don't even think it's 32 years, I think it's 2032, the federal funding of Social Security is going to be cut to 32, like 32%. Uh, and later down in this line, I'll kind of tell you my opinion about why it's happening that way. But I'm just going to run down through this list. U.S., this is also good. Uh, this right here, what the fuck is even this? African Development Foundation. I don't know. I don't know about that. That should be an American Development Foundation. I don't know why we're messing with Africa at all. Uh, we shouldn't be sending any of our money to any other nation or country unless they're our allies and we're in a common war. Mm, Community Futures of Training, Defense Nuclear Facility Safety Board, Farm Credit, Federal Housing Financial. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be running down this list because a lot of them I don't really care. Um, mm, 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 mm. Selective service system is fucking crazy because only men can be in selective service for the military. With the equal rights between men and women, they're not equal rights. So that, in my opinion, needs to be changed drastically. Like either A, you know, I don't believe that women should be in combat situations, but supporter roles I do believe that they should be in. 10 toes down. I think if you want to serve your country, there's other ways other than direct combat situations. And then the last is the judicial system. So, by the way, this is independent, semi-independent government agencies. And a lot of these agencies didn't go through the proper channels. They didn't go through so usually the executive branch does like the first decision, legislative funnels that crap, and then judicial ratifies it, or like I think that's the word, ratifies it into the Constitution or like law. And like the ATF, I'm pretty sure wasn't ratified. And probably a lot of these right here haven't been ratified. Government owned or sponsored enterprises. So these are all sponsored. I'm not going to really go down the list, but Amtrak, National Railroad Corporation. Okay. So, judicial branch, Supreme Court of the United States. I want to start there because Joe Biden's VP, when he was president, wants to add more Supreme Court seats, which make no flipping sense, in my opinion. That's just ridiculous, stupid, and dumb, in my opinion. Because I think we have just enough seats. We don't need any more seats. I think there's 7 seats. Let me look it up. How... Jesus Christ. What is it, not going to give me a straight answer? Is there even seats? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's... Alright, I thought there was 7. But there's 9. Holy shit. Yeah, we don't need any more. Probably one more to make it an even 10. But I would rather have like Holy moly, actually, 5 men and 4 women. That's crazy. Anyways, U.S. Circuit Courts of Appeal. Um, yeah, I don't know. I know U.S. District. Is it Circuit Courts? I think District Courts. They're a joke. U.S. Circuit Courts. They're a joke. Um, Majority of SCOTUS is a joke. I think this whole right here, this whole system right here, needs to be revamped. I don't know why the United States president only has 4 years to operate, and then only 2 terms. And by the way, he has to be elected again, while these people are, I think, voted in, and they're good for like 6 years, 7 years. Hold on, let me look it up. How much can they serve? So it says the Supreme Court is composed of 9 justices, including Chief Justice. Blah 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 blah. The oh my god. Yeah, it's gonna keep on doing that. The court requires a quorum of 6 justices to hear a case. The odd number of 9 helps prevent tie votes. Oh, okay. Okay, so that makes sense now. It's definitely for voting, so okay. It's not really giving me end date, so I'm gonna go back and then kind of end it right here. But yeah, that's kind of like the breakdown of the U.S. federal government, and then it goes a lot deeper into this state and then city, the state government, the city government, and then county and whatnot. Well, yeah, this is kind of like my breakdown of the situation, how I see. I just put this all together. But yeah, let me know if you like this type of content and want future breakdowns of other things kind of like this. I get a lot of inspiration from other YouTubers that do kind of sort of like this, but they just report on like the truth and facts of situations, and I kind of want to angle part of my YouTube channel into that direction. And yeah, if you guys like this type of content, like and subscribe, and you guys have a good one. Adios.